My name is Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi.
Do you swear that the evidence you are going to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Thank you, General.
Thank you, Chair.
If you are a criminal operating anywhere in KwaZulu-Natal right now, this is not good news for you, because the KwaZulu-Natal government has just endorsed the return of one of the most feared and respected police leaders in South Africa, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, a man whose name alone has shaken criminal networks, exposed alleged corruption at the highest levels, and forced the entire country to ask uncomfortable questions. So today, we are asking one powerful question. What does Mkhwanazi's return really mean for criminals? Does it mean the end of comfort, the end of protection, the end of playing games with the law? Stay with us, because this is not just a policing story. This is a warning. Welcome to Mzansi PoliScope, the home of in-depth analysis on policing, power, and politics shaping South Africa today. If this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, and become part of a growing community that values facts, accountability, and honest conversation. Today's story is not just another headline. It's about leadership, courage, and the direction of crime fighting in one of South Africa's most volatile provinces. The KwaZulu-Natal government has officially endorsed Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi to return as the province's police commissioner, a move that has already sparked intense debate across the country. Supporters call him decisive, critics call him disruptive, but criminals, they are paying very close attention. In this video, we unpack why this endorsement matters, how Mkhwanazi rose to national prominence, and most importantly, what his possible return means for criminals operating in KwaZulu-Natal. Let's start with the facts, because this story is already shaping the future of policing in KwaZulu-Natal. Last week, a crucial meeting took place between KwaZulu-Natal leadership and National Police Commissioner General Fani Masemola. This was not a routine discussion. It was about the future of the province's top cop. Following that meeting, the KwaZulu-Natal government officially endorsed Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi to return as Provincial Police Commissioner. This endorsement comes at a critical time, as Mkhwanazi's current term is expected to end after March this year. For many leaders, this moment would be treated cautiously, quietly, politically, but not in KwaZulu-Natal. Premier Thami Ntuli did not hesitate. He stated openly that on behalf of the people of KwaZulu-Natal, he is satisfied with Mkhwanazi's work and has no doubt in supporting his continuation. That kind of public backing is rare, especially in a province where policing decisions often come with pressure, controversy, and political risk. But it also tells us something important. KwaZulu-Natal's leadership believes continuity matters. They believe stability matters. And most importantly, they believe Mkhwanazi's approach to crime is working. Now the final decision still rests with Mkhwanazi himself, but the message from the province is clear. They want him back, and they are standing by that decision. To understand why this endorsement has captured national attention, we need to understand one thing clearly. Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi is not just another police general. He leads in a province where crime is organized, violent, and deeply entrenched. KwaZulu-Natal has long been a hotspot for cash-in-transit robberies, politically linked violence, extortion syndicates, and armed criminal networks. Many officers pass through this province. Very few leave a mark. Mkhwanazi did. Over the past 5 years, his leadership style has been described as direct, uncompromising, and intelligence-driven. No theatrics, no comfort policing, just operational focus. Under his watch, specialized units were prioritized, coordination between crime intelligence and operational teams improved, and violent crime responses became more targeted. That kind of approach matters, because criminals adapt quickly to weak leadership but struggle against consistency. It also explains why Mkhwanazi gained traction beyond KwaZulu-Natal. Communities saw a commander willing to speak plainly about crime, willing to acknowledge failures, and willing to confront internal challenges within policing, even when it made him unpopular. That combination, operational strength and public accountability, is rare, and it's exactly why his name now carries weight, not just among politicians, but among criminals watching closely. Because leadership shapes behavior on both sides of the law. But the moment that truly changed everything came in July last year. It was supposed to be a routine media briefing. What South Africa witnessed instead was something very different. Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi stepped forward and openly spoke about alleged corruption, political interference, and deep-rooted challenges within the South African police service and the wider criminal justice system. This was not gossip. This was not social media speculation. These were claims made by a serving provincial police commissioner, a man with access to intelligence, case files, and internal processes. In a country where many officials choose silence over risk, Mkhwanazi chose exposure. That decision sent shockwaves across South Africa. Civil society demanded answers, political leaders were forced to respond, and ordinary South Africans asked a simple question. If this is true, how deep does it go? The fallout was immediate. Government announced the establishment of the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry to investigate the claims. Parliament followed with a separate ad hoc committee. That alone tells you how serious these allegations were. But here's the critical point many overlook. Making such claims does not make your job easier. It makes it harder. You face resistance, you face scrutiny, you face pressure from all directions. Yet, Mkhwanazi did not retreat. And that moment reshaped how many South Africans view him. Not just as a police commander, but as a figure willing to confront uncomfortable truths, even when the cost is high. So now we arrive at the question that matters most. What does Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi's possible return actually mean for criminals in KwaZulu-Natal? It does not mean slogans. It does not mean press statements. It means pressure. Criminal networks survive on predictability, knowing who to call, when to move, and which systems are weak. Strong leadership disrupts that. Under Mkhwanazi, there has been a clear shift toward intelligence-driven policing. Targeted operations, coordinated units, less reaction, more anticipation. That matters to criminals more than public speeches ever will. It means movement becomes riskier, planning becomes complicated, leaks become harder to rely on, and comfort disappears. Criminals don't fear police uniforms, they fear consistency. They fear leadership that doesn't change direction every few months. They fear consequences that arrive quietly and suddenly. Recent police operations involving wanted suspects linked to serious violent crimes show what that approach looks like in practice. Not chaos, not recklessness, precision. And for communities trapped between crime and fear, that kind of policing brings a different message. It tells law-abiding citizens that someone is paying attention, and it tells criminals something else entirely. The environment has changed. To understand how Mkhwanazi's return could change the criminal landscape in KwaZulu-Natal, we need to look at recent operations under his leadership. In the past months, police intelligence units have conducted high-risk operations targeting armed robbery suspects and violent crime networks. These were not random arrests or opportunistic raids. These were planned, intelligence-driven operations. And in some cases, these operations resulted in the fatal shooting of wanted suspects who had been terrorizing communities for months. Suspects linked to armed robberies, cash and transit heists, and gang activity were neutralized before they could commit further crimes. For many citizens, these actions represent real results, not just promises. For criminals, the message is clear. Hiding behind influence, intimidation, or political protection is no longer enough. Mkhwanazi's operational approach emphasizes swift, precise, and coordinated action. It's about disrupting criminal planning before it unfolds. Under such leadership, law enforcement doesn't wait for crime to happen. They anticipate, they strike, and they hold networks accountable. And it's not just the big, headline-grabbing cases. Even smaller operations targeting local gangs have sent a ripple effect through communities, showing that no one is untouchable. This kind of decisive policing is one of the reasons why Mkhwanazi earned a national reputation. Criminals notice patterns, and Mkhwanazi's record shows consistency, courage, and results. So, if he returns, the expectation is that criminal networks will feel the pressure more than ever, and communities may finally see a level of security they have been waiting for.
By now, it's clear why Mkhwanazi is a figure who inspires strong opinions. Some say he is feared. Criminals fear him. They fear his operational consistency, his intelligence-driven approach, and his willingness to confront powerful individuals when necessary. They know that under his leadership, shortcuts are eliminated and consequences follow quickly. Others, however, say he is respected. Communities respect him. Citizens respect a leader who speaks honestly, takes decisive action, and is unafraid to challenge corruption, even within his own ranks. And that is a rare combination in any police force. Here's the critical point. Criminals don't fear uniforms. They fear predictable consequences. They fear leadership that doesn't waver, doesn't hesitate, and doesn't allow politics or influence to dictate action. Likewise, communities don't just want speeches or promises, they want results. And Mkhwanazi has delivered measurable results. That's why, for many, his return is not just about another term in office. It's about stability, accountability, and a clear signal that law enforcement is being taken seriously. It's a leadership style that challenges both sides of the law, reassuring citizens while keeping criminals on edge. And that dual perception, fear from criminals, respect from the public, is exactly what makes his potential return such a critical moment for KwaZulu-Natal. Now, everything comes down to one critical question. Will Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi accept the KwaZulu-Natal government's endorsement to return as police commissioner? It may sound like a simple decision on paper, but in reality, it's anything but. Accepting means returning to a province that is as complex as it is volatile, a place where crime syndicates are powerful, politics are deeply intertwined, and every move is scrutinized. Refusing could be seen as a retreat, or a missed opportunity to continue shaping the province's law enforcement trajectory. Mkhwanazi has already faced intense public scrutiny, political pressure, and the weight of national attention after exposing alleged corruption and systemic interference within the police service. This decision is not just about personal career choice, it's about what kind of policing KwaZulu-Natal will see in the coming months. Communities are watching, criminals are watching, political analysts are watching. The stakes are high. One wrong move, and the message to criminals could weaken. One bold decision, and the pressure on criminal networks could increase dramatically. This is why many view Mkhwanazi's potential return as more than a leadership change. It is a turning point for law enforcement in the province. And while the government has made its stance clear, the final call rests with him. The question now is simple but heavy. Will he step back into the hot seat, or will KwaZulu-Natal face uncertainty once again? Now, let's pause for a moment, because this is where you come in. We want to hear your thoughts on one of the biggest questions in KwaZulu-Natal right now. Do you believe Mkhwanazi should return as police commissioner, or do you think it's time for a fresh approach? And here's another angle to consider. Has his leadership actually made communities safer, or do you think criminals will simply adapt and find new ways to operate? We also want to know what you think about accountability in policing. Is transparency enough, or do results matter more than words? Drop your answers in the comments below. Be honest, be respectful, and share your perspective. Remember, your opinion matters. The more thoughtful responses we get, the more this conversation grows, and the algorithm loves active discussion. So whether you're a community member, a crime analyst, or just someone who follows KZN news closely, this is your chance to weigh in, ask questions, and spark conversation with others watching this video. because at the end of the day, discussions like these are what help South Africans understand the bigger picture and why leadership decisions like Mkhwanazi's matter to all of us. So don't be shy. Scroll down, hit reply, and let's talk. Your voice is part of the story. As we wrap up today's breakdown, one thing is clear. Leadership matters in KwaZulu-Natal, in South Africa, and for every community affected by crime. Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi's potential return is more than a personnel decision. It's a statement about accountability, operational focus, and how criminals are treated when law enforcement takes action. Criminals are watching, communities are watching, and so should we all. If you found value in this video, make sure to like it, subscribe to Mzansi PoliScope, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on the stories shaping South Africa. And don't forget, your opinion matters. Scroll down to the comments, share your perspective, and join the discussion. Let us know if you think Mkhwanazi's leadership will bring real change or if you see challenges ahead. Because when leadership shifts, the country feels it, and the people talking about it shape how others respond. This has been Mzansi PoliScope, breaking down the stories that matter, analyzing the people that matter, and keeping you informed about what's happening in South Africa. Stay informed, stay engaged, and as always, keep watching, because the story doesn't end here.